Hi, this is Lisa Guthrie, 07 Aurora Avenue North, Seattle, Washington. And the bums of this building, and they've advised me since I stepped in here, and management actually endorsed it and allowed the bums to and a dirty male and to put heroin into me. Stretch the bathroom, and there have been kidnapping since I moved here. And the dirty bums, they're all retardos, and they're playing savior. And each of them's rattling a chain. He's got an 80 IQ. The management has allowed this, including the property management, and these are stinky bums. This is the relationship. Nobody wants them, nobody likes them. They have no authority, but as with all bloods that I have encountered and all gang members, they're all psychotic, they're all retarded, and they're pretending that they are government or police. Now, the threats they made over this weekend, I came home Saturday evening after threats have included types, including cooking for people. Well, guess what? I have asthma, allergies, chemical sensitivities, bleeding ulcers, chronic fatigue, etc. And these bums, by the way, have called themselves warriors. They've put poisons in my water, washed my hands. They've sprinkled me with glass. And why did they do this? Well, I wouldn't become a prostitute, and I wouldn't kidnap children, and I wouldn't stick people with needles and join their gang and, abduct people and steal backpacks and purses. So I ended up with hands like that, and the manager on it, and a male named Dr. Jeff. And the property managers are affiliated with this, and there's a social worker or two affiliated with the building. And this is what's going on. This is not unusual. And also, these are Satan worshipers. They have a magical thought system. Like, they think that if they hurt me, everything's, and they're pretending Satan. And they're all low. A lot of them don't even know how to keep things clean. I actually have to use things like this because these bastards are so dirty. And I noticed I'd been here maybe 3 days. I have a lot of the stuff you're seeing on the table, well, obviously not my iron, which reeks strangely of some sort of chemical, by the way. They probably put a chemical. They mess around with things. It's still, including things like Vicks. I can't leave my prescriptions behind. And I have motion detectors. I can't leave those behind because they would smash them or do something to them. Who wants something touched? And they are filthy. And the Bloods and other gang members are also in on purposely infesting people with plagues. They've threatened a pretty large plague here. And some of them are, they're just walking around with, people's, even they'll borrow their friend's handkerchief that has a cold, wrap it up, maybe put it in a baggie, and spread the germs, or even their own. And that's one of the simplest, or a Q-tip habit. Usually the gang members aren't organized enough to think of Q-tips. A lot of them, it's just Kleenex or sneezing in people's faces, coughing rather. Sneezes involuntary usually. And the bums, some of them have lab connections to dirty lab. They will walk petri dishes or the lab person has coached them on. And I'm charting, if you believe in psychic attacks, these are not individuals. And this happened to me, it's 13 years ago. I complained about a meth lab. Now you can hear another person possibly and in his room, and the bums here, Jaffe, thought it would be fun to play Lisa's Crazy, our phone open, And it's sort of like the microphone havoc to do the way they did it, that eventually I ended up talking to people who, certain micro installed it. And I talked to about 4, and I had to tell them, things like, oh, is the when do I hear people? I sometimes I can hear them snore. I could have had a broadcast show just about what I hear on the microphone. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Call it crazy. And Dr. Jaffe, he will be, he'll be happy to cover up rapes and murders if in the event anything happens to me, and druggings. And he wants to help his friends the druggings that they've all threatened, and their own pills. And sometimes they'll actually pretend to be a nurse and pretend that's what the blood's like doing. And for some reason, they like constantly lying. Is, they are Satanists, and it's not secretiveness. Sorry, I've been around so much bad English, constantly writing code down. It's actually affected my English. Plus, I listen to prayer, to God, real God, and Jesus, not Satan like they do. I listen in several languages, so it affects my English sometimes. But I write down page after page of horrible evil that are it really, and it makes it sound a bit strange when I speak sometimes. And you're going to hear some agitated people, but I think I'll leave the broadcast to the point now where I have to broadcast showers, obviously not the video, but the audio, so that in the event the bloods broke in, at least I could, grab the camera and broadcast the person's face who's broken in. And these are such crazy bums that they have threatened to actually break through the closet, the walls, the flooring. And it's like they've used a way of accessing. That's what it sounds like. And definitely dirty security guards and dirty management in a conspiracy theory where they pretend that they're officials and this is legal, or an investigation. And, if you smell these people and you saw them going to their free lunches and then trying to rob me, you would know they're not officials. And there are a variety of places in the city that they use, like if one of them obtains a suit, there are sort of these places where they can look more businesslike, or maybe one of their blood connections that have suit. Or, at least I do know also that if you're a criminal in the social services, you actually will obtain more than a lot of other people. It's the way things go in the U.S. And there's a bum in the shower talking about how I made a mess. And the thing is, I talked. And these people have followed me downtown, uptown. I've been followed to 180. I've been don't tell me what to do. You're a bunch of stinking rags. So you see, I have no respect for stinking rags. But they followed me to Lower Capitol Hill, Upper Capitol Hill, thinking they're big shots, telling one of their favorite things businesses, so they won't. After years of this happening, well, a couple of years probably, I really doing this were child molesters or even it's ridiculous. I taped it, and I'm third in Aurora area, and they're all probably all U district. And Ballard as well, all over Seattle. So, and they constantly want to spread Blood's idealism. Basically they're zombie retarded people, and they want to spread. And one of the bums is actually some this magical. So obvious, it's a guarantee. There is none. Costume things, there's no relationship. And Stephanie, and yesterday she was embarking. So you'll as a false say you are in a fight with someone, and then you actually, let's say you were the Blood's bad guy. So Blood's another garbage, quite a lot. And if you believe in ESP, there's a bum, and there's head theft, and even if these bums are nice, they're absolute garbage. And another one is playing Kathy and doing chest and back. And a day at, it was Friday shopping, before I went shopping, University, a couple Bloods were there with a scenario of kidnapping. Black guys and a couple other retarded whites and others. And the couple, you can tell they're retarded because they think that people should, something like, we're taking your black guys direct. They thought they looked like cops with the cops and camouflage. Then they play military, so one had on a pair of black pants, one had on a pair of khaki pants, and they thought they looked like policemen. And then the bums there was a white weirdo, and he was using the word Etruscan, which meant noose. And one of the ugly, retarded black guys, they were all retarded, of all colors there. And he said something to the effect of, we're mental. And here he is, a mental right off the street. He was wearing sort of red pants with an Indian, pinkish red, distinctive, or sort of shaved upward, sort of a sallow olive complexion. It was white, I guess. But anyway, farther off, plain Etruscan, which it meant a code for noose. Codes, like us, that was a van from 19-something on it that were blue, and it was. They thought that they'd improve me into thinking that a couple of reject retards were doctors or could actually carry someone, and they all looked retarded and like medics. I'm telling you, they're all mentally deficient. And it's not that I always say this, it's not that they're hiding cleverly in the social services. They cannot function without the social services because they're all deficient. They are all, their behaviors have been endorsed by social services and all manner of professionals, including nurses, set up the look of legitimacy. One of the bums talking about eBay at 69th actually followed me there, and a couple weeks ago, my storage room stank like some of the bums but I can smell them when I take the smell of food like stew. And by the way, I didn't feel good Friday. I had eaten possibly a bar and woozy, and I had to actually sit at storage unit. I'll show you the bar. Watch are not strong sealed. Like anything, watch it. Now this held tested in the horrible water, because bums have touched it. it, but I actually felt wrong. I believe nothing wrong with this company. I absolutely doubt the company, and it's a delicious fig bar, and I don't believe that the company did the damage at where Bloods hang out, where I volunteer. It's off of 50th. Boozy. And now there are a couple mentally ill people that, well, they're all mentally ill if they're Bloods, that work at where I volunteer. I don't have anything her, and actually people are but because there's been so much crazy person who works basically endanger everybody. Not smart though, but industry. They like to call it industry. It has been based on, you may have heard of it, and me and they're all child molesters. The threatened to rape me with a solder or to solder knife, quite the level that they've taken it. And the thing is, there are places where people, different members will join them because they're so desperate. They've been castigated and casted type of person. You don't force loyalty with me. You don't force it, you're not going to. I'm going to be the snake that bites you in the back of the leg. And the FBI, and you try to abduct me, I'm going to lock you in your own apartment and maybe glue the door shut or something. Do that. If I have to, a couch will go out a 3-story to whatever story apartment, just to a chair. We're playing friend. I don't have a friend, so one of the bums here is chanting along with what I'm saying. My windows are open because it's a toxic place with all the meth lab smells, etc. But he's chanting along. My friends, after 13 years of gang members and zombies, and they were chanting Lucifer earlier and Lucifer this. They're all Satan worshippers. They all have a fetish for blood. There are a couple people here that have, but he also smells. So that you can smell him through the wall. One of the white who goes to the social services where I volunteered before, she absolutely, you can smell her through. You can smell, a lot of these people smell like urine, fecal, and body. Are hideous. In their mind, you want them. Is patient. He thinks he's very magical. He's trying to activate their body. He's playing pick up that. They like to stage that a person or present that a person is the criminal that targeted. And a horror wall is also playing phone that the dirty has that I owe. It's a guarantee the dirty whore owe her anything, and I'm not going to pay. And if I have to drag someone to the steps of the FBI that's trying to kidnap me, I don't know what's going to happen. I usually, it's like if you want to follow me to the FBI, right to their doorstep so you can get photographed. That's great. Actually, not to drag them, but if drag them. The citizen arrest scenario is not legal. And apparently the bums are so retarded, what they also like to play archaic names of justice systems or components of justice. So they're also playing arranged marriage. They're playing indenture, and you can't indenture people in the U.S. and then to drag me off to a Russian container ship. You don't even know who they're actually in with because they're so psychotic that they already call the Americans Russians or Germans. They're calling themselves British, And who do they like to love calling themselves names of, including the spirit world? Back. Excuse me, I have to write this back. And the secret is to these people, they didn't have a soul, and they didn't have a spirit, they didn't have any aura, and they didn't have any spirit. They actually had been dead for 12 minutes, and nobody had an IQ over 80, and they're constantly stealing brain. And there are no the best scientists, including physicists that they absolutely stealing brain, and they steal the food. And Satan taught them to see the invisible, and he taught them to use dishonesty and deception. Satan is that he's a liar. One of the things about Satan, and he's a destroyer. And these bums, they're very dangerous. And if someone would be that can ruin 8 areas of the brain that produce the ESP in these people. So at that point, all people that should have been euthanized, the hideous grade level. The secret is everybody in the U.S. is retarded. In the U.S. last 13 years, they are stolen ideas, including from people in the spirit world and other countries. Well, first I take the E line from 100 aura, and then I take the and there's zetas involved too. So I take 85th, and then I transfer on the 45, and that is across. And also go through the up on 50th, sometimes on other areas. Always a shooting threat, has been a shooting threat for 13 years. Oh, and the plot was to serve me this apartment and have me drink the and today bottle. I'm going to walk in the hospital with it and tell them that's my, and I don't feel good. And yeah, there has even or acted. He's threatened actually, and he's bus stop. Another member. They actually stopped themselves doing schizophrenic system. Got people trying to control this and that, as you think. Some of these people have AIDS and HIV and hepatitis, and some of them absolutely are making threats in regard to raping people, including to knock them out. So that's a gang member's trick where they will inject someone, perhaps. The person might feel a needle prick, maybe they're out for 2 days. They've threatened, kept in a drug-filled case. They never were a drug addict, a lot of them. And then they turn up pregnant, AIDS, diseases, and they who purposely rape a victim that has reported them so that person will have, and if you could imagine stinks, that's exactly what's happening. Low-income kind of apartments. For the fall with Satan, a lot of these low-income, excuse the cliche, were retarded then and inferior, and they're retarded now. It's even worse now, though, because they have a lot of support from professionals and professionals that are going to end up as bums pushing shopping. It's just the way it's I happen. So $100,000 mansion, $3 million mansion, supporting Bloods. Well, where did his money come from? Suspect instantly. Instant suspect. There's somebody that dollar house, and there was chest and back attack. $500,000 house involved. House maintenance lots, by the way. They're all involved, is what I was going to say. But the biggest plot has been to sneak me away, like hit me on the head, or try to force me into a vehicle. And this. They seem to be all, and I've heard them spouting off psychotic too. I've heard them absolutely spouting psychotically and making threats. And that's how they smuggle people out of places. Nobody sees them a lot of times for 30 years or more. That kind of crime, it's based on lies. And even before the fall of Satan, you know, that's how it goes. People are liars. You will find people that are inferior, even going back a lot of discount. Well, all of them saw it, guaranteed. But it was a bunch of bums, just like this garbage. And Satan, before the fall of Satan. So you might find that these bums are bragging too. You'll find that some of these bums are connecting with old crimes and also covering up crimes of their fellows who have taught them crimes and taught them how to commit crimes, rather. And you'll find people in the 60s, including separate movements that are dangerous, such as the Black Nazis. So what I think is psychic. These Obama's arguing. He's saying nunque. They're trying to call everything nunque. And I think he said devil. I think that a couple of these people in the 70s. And it is about these old ladies and old men. What you have and creature. And it's just more mouth and more plots than action. And they will help their fellows. So we have a creepy old man in a wheelchair. He's Hispanic. And not to pick on color in particular, because he's in with creepy. He threatens me with slavery. You would think he thinks he's 16. His tattoos, and he thinks he's quite the gamer now. He just sits in a wheelchair. And one of the threatened to have me take care of. I'm just going and well, why is your room? She doesn't want you. And I'll show him needles. Carried away to prison or jail. But and one of the prostitutes tell him he's going to be a chef. I'll flood the kitchen, or worse, throw the food around. There won't be any food to get away from slavery. That's legal. It's legal. Once someone enters, you check the laws. You know, because somebody actually to his apartment have a gun, but he broke. These bastard kids broke. Actually, what had they done? They had cases. They went one time, and then he knew they'd come back for some reason. Too much of a plot of killing him, and so he basically shot the girl and disabled her. And the guy not be in prison. It's very unfortunate. But he also made a tape recording of what he was doing. He might have had their death tape recording. It was a story, but he ended up arrested. You can't do it yourself if someone's trying to kidnap you, rape you, or break into your apartment or home. Or if they're trying to hold you captive. But I would say that couch out a window, and that would be an excellent police on a street, and someone's like, what's happening right there? So the ugly old man is about 5'6", he's covered in tattoos, and I broadcast. He has some, I think, some hair, hair. I'm trying to remember what color it is. It's sort of grown. You know how faded hair looks brown. He's just an ugly old man with a lot of lip, but he knows that he'll be backed up by other gang members. So the flapping senior criminal often has him or her, he or she, excuse me. And also, you will find, even if they're not an established gang, I had it in other places where people will act like gangs, even older people. It's herd mentality. And I found that of scummy old seals. And they kind of teach the retards how to act in a gang. And but some people, gang techniques are military. It's military or practicing military. Teaching surveillance. And what would be old school now, like some of the electronic spy methods, and actually some of the electronic spy methods and cameras, it's stuff like that that's been out probably since the 50s. They were using it on people like Marilyn Monroe. But, it's people that taught these gang members things like that. Or phone tapping. I've talked to people who have she took apart her phone one day and in a landline. Now, I'll tell you what these seem to have that's quite interesting. Now, a lot of them have cell phones, but a lot of them have landlines that you can actually hear around the building. There's an unusual activity here, I would say, especially when cell phones are so surveillance that they've done, which is alleged in the smoke detector, and that's according to one of these apps I used also, and it detects hidden camera, and you get it. One of them has all of it where you can detect hidden camera. You can detect a lot of things, and off the smoke detector. You want to be leery of things going off when it's extraordinarily high EMF, electromagnetic field, like near a refrigerator. But it seemed to go off near the smoke detector, or to have questions. The fire, because it would set the smoke detector off. And what I would say, these people have set up fake Facebook accounts, impossible Zuckerberg or obviously, but any within book to deal with such pages. If they're locked, how are you going to find them? But the gang members will get a victim as a prostitute, and by the time she or he, will say he as well. We don't want to be, because we don't know the kind of people they've targeted over 10 victims. But the gang members will present criminal. So, in my case, with the chemical, I don't have the tag. I also think more than they normally would be, because I think that they put in here, and see, I have a lot of scratches on my hand. There's a prostitute chanting because something off my nails aren't dirty. I was just wiping some coffee. But glass sprinkled, and what I used to, which is unfortunate, the water's dirty, and so, but now I wipes, and I would wipe the place, and I bought a bunch. But I have some odd stuff. And also, not to get graphic, but and yeah, that is coffee. Hands aren't dirty. My hands came in contact with glass. Came in contact, not sprinkled with glass. My hands came in contact. So when you use toilet paper, it's getting distracted because I'm hearing morons as well. You're going to have glass cut in your sprinkler paper, and it's all hard to lock up everything because what if you have a bathroom when you come back, which you get all. And which the other fact that I've tried to look up things, but the bums here brag that they can get in a suitcase. I just noticed there's a instructional line of, get into suitcases. All so I mean, and then like guys who's bragged the most, he's that man. He's got a sort of a bowling ball head. I've called it. I believe I've heard he's special ed. He actually he's about 5'9". He has a mustache that crawls down like a bandito kind of movies, but it's blondish brown. He's hideous looking. Wears black. I saw it, and thinks he looks good, by the way. And he's I've actually videoed him on Aurora because he likes to kidnap, or not just kidnap, but he's in on kidnappings. I don't think he can self, but he would try to. He's afraid of getting recognized. So carrying by himself. He's also not very hepatitis. Definitely a rapist, and that is downtown, I think, and building down, and it is affiliated with PSC. And you say, well, how did you get in such a bad scum area? Well, I actually complained about mold to the women place apartments, and the manager pretended I didn't pay rent time, and this was after she pulled out the blood, and before mold, also inside of the only managed, and then HUD could only manage to a certain point between, and then you get nowhere. And HUD, if you try to call HUD for issues, sometimes will anything like that since they have done nothing. Anyway, Nicole will out her blood friends and the people that she moved in next to me there, and there were black and white people also that were threatening me and playing the Bloods games also with conspiracy theories of we're experts, we're here to, this is happening. And so probably for a while, and that's all Kathy Cox was, possibly a nurse's aide probably, and her mother was a nurse's aide. She finally admitted it, but they had a drop possibly and some security guards and a retarded morons on the property. One name record them, and then they would play things back. And then there was a nurse like this. They're part of the mothers of the females who lived in that set of buildings. These were called vulnerable. I'll tell you, living room where people could have handy access. I don't feel that I'm in more. By the way, I have to pray because I'm going to drink my coffee. Now, one of the dirty retards is talking about medication. You have the right to administer medications. No, he's a full moron, and he's on wear, just like the rest of them. And by the way, that work here, yes, a couple of them have hung out in the janitor's room, masturbating and threatening to rape and threatening to kidnap. And one of them is from Recovery Cafe. It's a black man. He's about 6'1". He has a good face. He can appear as normal, and they stalk women. And somebody here about indenturing, and but you get some foul people together, semi-professionals or professionals that will aid these people together, and they think that people outfit Mary's places. Mary's actually give a prostitute, and she will look like she has a job. And same with that actually they're prostitutes who pose in it. So you wonder why a disgusting fat prostitute wants a suit to begin with. Especially like these prostitutes. You know, a lot of these people, they don't even get out very much. They just sit around threatening. A lot of them must have hits on them or something. Seen them around, and some of them are the same. A lot of them are policemen. It's not just one or two. And it's not just black. One of them said she really blows the whistle. Well, probably not going to get an apartment because of the bums following me to that location. I'm going to be names and date. And date is what happened. See you later. I'm drinking my coffee. Bother with my toxic kitchen now is rinse out a bottle and shake up some cold. Heat a pan to absolute, high temperature, which isn't good for the sick, and because you don't want to heat. Mostly, probably, or extreme situations with entering my apartment as soon as nobody gave them the key. It's rules. Managers have broken their own rules. I'm going to come back and reveal names if I don't like the answer. Thank you. Well, let's see. I have diabetes, and I also have the allergies, and talk to you later. And remember, themselves warriors. That's typical.